Hi everybody, I'm back. The other day I posted a video about this Muse kit that was sent to me. We did an unboxing and I told you everything that was in here, and I'm back today and I'm just going to play a little bit. I don't really have anything planned specifically. So just as a review, in this kit there was this cool collapsible little water bucket, a set of Talon's acrylic paints. There's 8 tubes of paint in here, which we will play with. There was an aluminum paint tray, mixing tray, a sea sponge, a set of woodless pencils, which I will play with today a little bit. And then there were 4 of these art panels, MDF art panels, 2 5x5s and 2 5x7s by Art Alternatives, and a set of brushes, as well as this travel case or storage case for brushes, which is quite nice, and a set of, what do we got, 12 brushes. Make sure I get these on the camera. I will tell you again, I'm in a new art space with a new camera set up, so I'm still kind of getting used to where things need to be for you to see them. But anyways, these look like nice brushes. We're going to try those out. So I'm going to just get things set up here, and then I'll be back and we'll give some of these supplies a try. Okay, I'm going to start out just by getting a feel for these woodless pencils. I did a sketch with just the HB earlier, and it was a bit dark for my liking, but I'm just going to go on here and just do some swatches. We'll test out how well they blend and erase. So that was the HB. This is the 2B. They seem to blend quite nice on top of itself. I can build up that dark pretty easily. 4B. This paper I'm using is a Strathmore toned tan drawing paper. I like that intensity, that's pretty nice. Let's go over here with the 6B. I do a lot of graphite portraits. I mean, like a lot. So graphite properties in pencils are important to me, and I'm pretty picky about my pencils. This is an 8B. I like to be able to layer my graphite. I like to be able to blend it out. So this is going to be a good test. This is the EE pencil. It's half charcoal and half graphite. And I was quite excited to see this. I've never used one before. I mean, I've used charcoal pencils, but not, and carbon pencil, which I'm thinking maybe that's similar to this. But as you can see, you get some pretty intense darks with that. Okay. So the main thing that I usually blend with is a blending stump. This one's pretty clean, so it should give us a pretty good idea of how easily these blend. And when I blend graphite, I don't want to see the lines that I made. So that's pretty smooth. That was the HB. This is the 2B. It is. It's blending really nicely and smooth. I like this. I like these pencils. So far, I like them. That's the 4B. This is the 6. I Ideally, I'd like to be able to blend that line out if I want to blend beyond where I laid the graphite down. I can still see that line a little bit, but to be fair, that's a dark pencil. This is the 8. That seemed to blend the line out pretty well there. I'm going to flip this around to a cleaner edge and go this way on these. I can still see a bit of a line on that one, but I had blended most of that graphite out already, so at this point I'm just kind of burnishing, which is not what I want to do. But yeah, these blend really nicely. This one, I have a feeling it has more oil in it. Just the feel that I get under the blending stump, it's a little more resistant. Like I feel a little more tug when I blend with it. But I like the dark value that it gives. I'm going to go up this way and see what it blends out into. Yeah, pretty nice. Sometimes I'll come back with the brush just to take a little more graphite off the surface of the paper. Sometimes we'll get a little bit of smudging, which sometimes you want that. I think most of it is off. I'm not getting much on my finger. And if I come back with the tissue, I can blend it out even more, which I like. I like to have a variety of ways to manipulate the graphite. So far, I like these pencils. The other key thing is how well do they erase. I would expect some ghosting with the darker value pencils. My eraser's retracting on itself here. Overall, I like these pencils. I'd buy them. I would. I like them. And like I said, I'm picky about my pencils. Let me grab the package so that you know. These are the woodless graphite pencils by Sign Youth. Exactly how it sounds. But I'm impressed. I like them. They worked out well. Did most of the things that I look for in a decent graphite pencil. So yay. Okay. I'm going to get set up to test out some of these acrylic paints and then maybe do a little project here after we're done with that. Okay, I'm just going to play around with these paints a little bit. I'm not planning on painting a masterpiece for you here. I want to see, you know, how well do they blend, how well do they mix, if I can get any texture. So I just started with one of the little MDF panels. I put a couple coats of gesso on here, just plain white acrylic gesso, and then just sketched with the HB pencil, sketched a face. I used the blending stump just to see how it would blend on the gesso, and it's doing okay. I'm just using the blending stump, so that's good. So I just pulled out a small round brush, an angled shader, a flat, and a filbert. So I'll just give a variety of brushes a whirl here. So I'm just going to take the filbert first. Anytime you get a new brush, there's going to be sizing in the bristles. They'll feel stiff. Make sure you rinse that out before you start in with the new brush. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the blue on my brush and just see, you know, how creamy are these, how far do they go, how well do I like the way they go down. Not bad. Pretty good coverage for just one coat here. As far as the brush goes, it's kind of an in-between. It's not super stiff. It has a little bit of spring to it, which means, you know, it holds its shape pretty well when it's loaded and springs back into shape. You know, once I pick it up, it doesn't like mush out when I go to paint with it. Keeps its shape pretty well. Let's see, if I had to compare it, I would say it's probably comparable to most student grade paints, probably acrylic paints that you get, you know, tube paints. So yeah, pretty nice. So let's see, I'm just going to mix up a skin tone here with the three primaries. I have yellow ochre, naphthol red medium, and this is a permanent cyan. Can you see? I hope that's on camera. So I'm just going to mix these up. I need a white though. I didn't put out any white. A little bit of white in there. Mixing skin tones, or really any colors, using the three primaries plus black and white. It's called the Zorn palette, and you can basically mix any color you need with those 5 colors. Now, let's see what we got. Put a little bit of white and I can tell better. This palette tray, it's a little too lightweight for my liking. It's a little dark. It moves around too much, like I feel like I have to hold on to it. But I suppose you could put something underneath it. You see, I feel like I do. I need to put my finger on there. But anyways, we're just going to go with it because this isn't a video on how to mix paint. I just wanted to see, you know, not to test my paint mixing skills, but to see how well they mix. And they do mix, they mix nicely. They go on smooth. And I like that. So if I wanted to come back and adjust the color right on my substrate, I can do that too, and just like lighten up areas. So not bad. I'm going to add a little more pink to that. Well, or what I wanted to do, sometimes I like to just smear the graphite with my finger and then paint over it, and just to get a little bit of shading where I know the shading should be before I add the paint. So I just want to see how well the paint goes over the graphite. This should be way lighter. Mixed with the graphite, or alright, well, she's going to have kind of dark skin because I'm not going to fight with this getting the color right. It's a little too dark and a little too blue, but we could also test out and see how the layering comes along with it. I'm going to add a little bit more water and thin that down a little bit so I can still see underneath. See my drawing? I kind of like this paint. I've been painting with acrylics for a long time. Not a whole lot of portraiture in acrylics, but other types of art with acrylics, abstracts mostly. I like it's creamy. It goes on smoothly. And I kind of like the brush too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the background and give that face just a chance to dry a little bit. I'm going to take this sponge and I'm going to tear a smaller piece off. just so I can work it. And then I'm just dipping it in the water and wringing it out so that it's not dry. Not soaking wet. Squeezing most of the water out of it. I'm just going to dip it in to the yellow ochre and just pounce it on the background. If I press down and twist a little bit, I don't get like the same patterning everywhere. Get a variety of marks. But honestly, as far as the paint goes, the coverage is really good. I mean, for one coat just with a wet sponge, that did really well. I'm going to put a little bit of blue on top of that, just because. Kind of mix it on the palette a little bit. I don't know if that palette's even in the frame or not. Just to add a little interest. I will say it does dry fast. The paint dries fast. Maybe a little too fast for my liking, but you know, in one hand, that's nice if you're, you know, in a hurry or whatever, but if you're one that wants to like blend on your substrate, blend as you go, you want it to be a little more open for a longer period of time. But you can always add an acrylic medium to help keep the paint open longer. But yeah, that face is completely dry. So let's see how this small round behaves. I'm just going to go in around the eyes just a little bit. The brush is nice, it's holding its point nicely. I feel like that's what happens when you don't get all the water off the ferrule of the brush. I should be able to suck that back up, but you get a drop of water and you could have a mess. I usually like to wipe it backwards this way, so if there's water clinging onto the ferrule, it's not going to go into the bristles. Yeah, brushes are nice, the paint's nice. So far I don't have any real complaints about anything that we're testing. Take some black and see if I can get a fine line around her eyes with this brush. And I like to pull towards me when I'm doing fine line work. Just a little bit more control for me. You do you. Get the paint a little looser. Get the pupil in there. Now I can wait until that dries and then, you know, touch it up with the skin color. And if I go in there to try to do it now, I'm just going to blend it into mud, so we're not going to do that right now. But yeah, as far as testing the paint and the brushes and the substrate and the pencils, I'd say definitely all good. Really. I'm going to water out this black to a little bit of a gray. Just to see if I can get some shadow here. This is probably enough to tell you that pretty much like everything that was in this box. These little substrates are nice if you want to do a quick small painting and just be done with it. Let's see, let me try this filbert brush. Or did I use the filbert brush? Let's try the flat angle shader. We'll give her some black here because I already have black out here. Yeah, the paint really lays down nicely. This brush doesn't seem like it's holding as much paint. Let's see if I can get some pointy curls here. It does hold its edge pretty well. Yeah. So, Muse Kit is definitely worth the price, I would say. The nice thing is you get pretty much full size, like none of these are sample sizes. I know the tubes of paint are small, but it's a you know, a size that you would find on the market. If you wanted a set of that size of tubes, you know, that's available. Obviously the pencils and brushes and the rest are the same size. So that's basically it. I mean, don't judge my artistic ability here because I wasn't really trying that hard. I was just really trying to test things for you. So yeah, I recommend Muse Kit, definitely. Everything was really nice quality. It's definitely a money saver as far as, you know, getting all of these products at a lesser price than you would pay for them if you bought them in the store. So I hope you enjoyed the review of the products of the Muse Kit. If you go back a video, you will see the unboxing and I talk more about each individual product. But I'm telling you, I really, really like those pencils. You know, because I work in graphite a lot, I feel like I'm a good judge of pencils. I have a lot of pencils. So I'm going to leave it here. I hope that you will give Muse Kits a try. Each month they have like a different category of art supplies. Like one month they did a whole kit that had resin products and things that you could use with the resin, like alcohol ink and that type of thing. Another time I saw they had clay. So anyways, check out their website, give them a try, and if you do, come back and let me know and leave me a comment about whether this was helpful for you. And in the meantime, go make some art. Bye.